Hello, hello, Jamar Shah coming to you today from Frederick, Maryland, Flying Dog, once again. Today I'm with Jim Caruso. He is the CEO of Flying Dog. Jim, say hello.
Hey, hi everybody. Jim Caruso, Flying Dog Brewery here in Frederick, Maryland.
Okay, so ValorLives interview series episode number 59. Why do I do what I do? Number one, because there's successful people who deserve to have their story. So number two, there's people who need to hear successful stories so they can be inspired. And number three, to let you know you can go out there with a camera phone and a selfie stick and impact your community. So just like always, no interviews over 10 minutes long, raw, uncut, no special lighting, all in one take. So Jim, why do you do what you do?
Okay, I can see you're a fast talker, Jamal. We got this in 10 minutes. Why I do what I do. I'm a builder and a grower, both of businesses and people. My goal is to get people to put aside those limiting beliefs and bring out their original work, that creative expression. I dedicate my life to this. It's exciting, it gives me energy, I'm enthusiastic about it, and I love being able to make a little dent in the universe in this way.
Okay, so why do you do that through beer? Or is it bigger than beer?
Absolutely. So beer, I look at as that's my product, and I want to be the best part of your day. And that gives us a lot of freedom to introduce ourselves into your life. At the same time, I'm dedicated to freedom of speech, creative expression, and again, really helping people to think big and then think bigger. We all have that little voice in the back of our head. You're not good enough. I get people to silence that voice and to encourage them to embrace criticism. If you're doing original work, expect to be criticized. Get concerned if you're not. Criticism is a sign that you're not fitting in like the world wants you to.
Okay.
Go out there, find an edge, and do original work that matters. For us, it's beer, my passion. Had my first beer at age 5. I love beer, and I use that as a platform for much of what I do in terms of this creative expression.
Okay, so how long have you been in the beer industry? Not since 5.
22 years.
22 years. So in those 22 years, what has been the proudest moment for you thus far in your career?
Well, many. I guess when you ask that question, what comes to mind? 2009, the Brewers Association, the industry association, honored Flying Dog as the Brewery of the Year. And while I don't always embrace those kinds of awards, I think it was so exciting to have the team at Flying Dog recognized for the years and years of brilliant work. The second one, and the win in the Federal Court of Appeals in 2015 after a 6-year battle. The Federal Court of Appeals ruled in Flying Dog's favor against the state of Michigan that they violated our First Amendment rights, set a precedent nationwide that freedom of speech and creative expression applies to beer labels and wine labels and whiskey labels. A huge, huge win against narrow-minded bureaucrats who want to impose their morals and values on you.
I love it. Okay, so what has been the lowest moment of your career?
Lowest moment, I'm pretty even keeled. A startling moment was when Hunter S. Thompson died by his own hand in February of 2005. I think it came as a shock to all of us. A great friend of the brewery, a great icon in our world, and it was shocking.
Okay, I don't know who that was. So who was he for our audience?
Hunter S. Thompson is a very famous investigative journalist. You might know him from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. He was a writer for Rolling Stone for several decades. A very prolific career from 1965 until 2005.
Okay, perfect. So here at Flying Dog, you have about 100-something employees, right? How do you create team culture where everybody's not killing each other?
Team culture.
Yeah.
I view it as we are the culture.
Okay.
Those little memes, those little sayings you have all the time. You can't create culture. It's discovered. You can describe it, but that culture comes from the people behind the brewery. This story about, well, there's a corporation. There aren't corporations. Every corporation is a sometimes meaningless group of people, sometimes a group of people that gives a lot of meaning. So that culture comes from whether it's put aside those limiting beliefs or think big, then think bigger, do original work that matters, that becomes the culture. And the more you scratch the surface at Flying Dog, the more you'll find out we're exactly who we appear to be, even a little bit weirder behind the surface. So the market for something to believe in is infinite. And we, I think, are one of those few companies where, again, you get behind the scenes and it's Flying Dog and it's Flying Dog and it's Flying Dog.
Okay, so we're about halfway through.
Great.
So I'm going to need you to keep your answers a little bit shorter.
Shorter, got it.
Okay, so where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Wherever I am, it'll be great. Probably brewing beer, but wherever it is, it'll be exactly where I want to be.
Okay. Do you think it'll be in Maryland? Because you're from Colorado.
Yeah, Maryland.
Okay.
I have no attachment to Colorado.
Okay.
I'm actually from Ohio.
Ohio. Okay, cool. So Do you have a morning routine, something you do every morning to get your day started successfully?
Sure. I read the Frederick News Post, then I read the Wall Street Journal, then the Washington Post, then I have a cup of tea, check emails, I read a couple of blogs, hit the road.
So you read all those papers every morning.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
See what's going on in the world.
Okay.
Frederick News Post for the local news,
Okay.
the other two for national news. I get up at 4:15. By 5 o'clock, I'm done with all that.
I love it. So, what book are you currently reading right now?
Interesting question. So this fall, I did a deep dive into the Constitution. I'm reading Randy Barnett, Our Republican Constitution. He's a brilliant scholar from the Georgetown University. His other book is Restoring the Lost Constitution. And I'm reading The Conscience of the Constitution by Timothy Sandford. Again, really a deep dive into the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and what its meaning is today.
Okay. Now, if those books are on iBooks, I'll put the link in the comments section so you could go to your iPhone, you could click on the link, and boom, you could download it. So,
Yes.
what advice? Oh, do you have a daily habit that if you didn't do it, your day wouldn't feel the same? Some people it's lifting weights, some people it's meditating, it's a smoothie, it's yoga. How about you?
I do, you can call it meditation, self-hypnosis. I do the daily New York Times crossword puzzle, and I read for an hour. If I don't do that, my day's a little bit off.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So, what advice would you give to your 25-year-old self? I know that was only a couple years ago, but 25-year-old self, what advice would you give?
The advice I would give to myself and to young people in general is use fear and whatever you think is uncomfortable as your compass. For me, it's everything from improv to anything else. If it strikes me as that's something I wouldn't want to do it. And when I was 25, I avoided all that stuff. Now I find that everything interesting in life comes from using that uncomfortable sense and that sense of fear. Go in that direction, everybody. Go in that direction.
So you said improv. Does that mean you're used to being on camera? Because it looks like you are.
No, I'm not. So I use improv as an example. Somebody said to me, Jim, I think you'd be good at improv. The very thought of doing improv frightens me. When I was 25, I would have done everything possible to avoid it. The first thing I did when somebody said that, I got online that night, signed up for improv in DC. Using that as a compass, I find out that anybody can do improv, and you start to realize there's some creative edge, some original work for you, and you have to go in that direction. Don't shrink down. Don't try to survive life. Really lean into it and thrive.
So is there an improv place close to Frederick?
DC Improv is the one I'd recommend, probably the best in the country.
Okay. Now, I heard in improv, you're not allowed to say no. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's always yes and. Exactly. Whatever somebody says, it's yes and. Don't be the Joan Collins killer where somebody said, well, how about our child? And the guy said, I don't have a child.
Right. That just kills the improv.
It kills it. Yeah, yes and it's the jujitsu. Yes and.
All right. So how do you remain humble? Because you have a lot of success, you're well known, your company's kicking ass. So how do you keep your feet on the ground while your heads are still in the cloud?
You know, that's interesting. Take you for example. You're an extremely sharp person. I look at myself at your age and go, I was so nobody compared to you. I just see the genius all around me, and I am humbled by the fact that whatever you do, you look around, and if I were your age, I don't know what I'd be doing. Not something as cool as you are. The people I work with, the mentors I have, I am humbled by the genius out there every day.
Mentors. I love mentorship. So who are some of your mentors?
Mentors have been great. Seth Godin, the guy who wrote Purple Cow since 2004.
Yes,
Dr. Richard Bandler, the founder of Neurolinguistic Programming. I studied with him for years. Jim Cook, founder of Boston Beer. Many mentors. And I've stalked them until they agreed to become my mentor.
Nice. Purple Cow is all about standing out.
Yes,
right?
yes.
That's why I wear tennis shoes and a suit, because nobody else does it.
You're
So,
looking great.
crazy goals, scuba. Oh, we're running out of time.
Yep, sorry,
So,
that's
how
it.
can people get a hold of you if they want to?
I'm very accessible. Jim, Jim, at flyingdogbrewery.com. Jim at flyingdogbrewery.com. That's my personal email, and I'll respond.
Okay, perfect. So, some crazy goals: scuba diving, skydiving, Mount Everest. What is left for Jim?
I've done all that. My goal
You've
is...
done Everest?
No, I've done Everest.
Okay.
I've done all the other stuff. My goal would be to outer space, to go to the moon. I would absolutely love to be able to take a trip to the moon or to outer space.
I think Richard Branson's doing something
know,
like that.
I know.
So contact Richard.
I'm in. Richard,
Contact.
find me.
So, pets. You got any pets?
No.
Okay. So that is it for the ValorLives interview series, episode number 59. Go out there, show some valor. Jim, can you do this? Show some
Yes.
valor. Gotta hide the thumb.
Yes, hide the thumb.
There you go. Show some valor. Talk to you next week with episode 60. Bye.